June 2020. Will please come to order. Will everyone please silence their cell phones? Sharon, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nancy, will you please call roll?
Sharon Williams.
Present.
Louis Short.
Here.
Allie Sugg.
Here.
Paul Muse.
Here.
Paul Sporn.
Present.
Jim Lang.
Here.
Casey Griffin. Here. And Chris Foster.
Here.
Chris. And Terry. No.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next item is on the agenda is to waive the reading and approve the minutes as presented from the May 1st, 2020 special city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Nancy?
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Abstain.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Jim Lang.
Yes.
Paul Sporn.
Yes.
Paul Muse.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is to waive the reading and approve the minutes as presented from the May 21st, 2020 city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Nancy?
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Jim Lang.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Paul Sporn.
Yes.
Paul Muse.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the approval of the payments journal for the month of May 2020. We have a motion.
I move we approve it.
Second.
Casey.
Nancy?
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Jim Lang.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Paul Muse.
Yes.
Paul Sporn.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the approval of the street, sanitation, general, community center, O&M, and miscellaneous funds for the month of May 2020.
So moved.
Wait, I have a couple questions.
Okay?
Under community center, what is a convenience fee?
The credit cards.
Convenience Pass is something that the community center sells. It's a group of 10 visits for $5, and it's something that they can give out to if they have a grandchild or someone visiting, they can use the Convenience Pass.
Okay. And also, under administration expenses, what is code red?
Code Red, it is the fee, it is
The 911
part of
calls.
the 911
Oh, okay.
emergency,
Okay,
emergency
It's
management.
when we have storms.
thank you.
You can sign
Yeah, no.
phone calls.
Thunderstorm warnings.
No other questions?
Yeah, anybody else?
Allie, your motion stands.
Nancy?
We had a motion, I don't have a second.
Second.
Okay.
Paul Muse.
Yes.
Paul Sporn.
Yes.
Jim Lang.
Yes.
Allie Sugg.
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
Sharon Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item, you have the supervisor's reports in your packets. Are there any questions for the supervisors?
I have a question for Public Works. We know that we don't get inmates anymore because of the well, there aren't any, let's put it like that, we know that. How has that affected your operation over there since you're shorthanded? And I know, I saw on the internet where there was an ad for an employee, so give us a 5-minute update.
Yeah, well, basically, pandemic has affected all operations of public works. Since the inmates, community service, they don't have the other side helping out with trash. It's pretty much all ceased. And so basically, I'm using street department, animal control, myself, right at the back of the trucks. By doing so, now we're affecting the actual street side of it. So basically, the limbs, leaves, trimming of the streets, road repairs, all falling behind. Basically, I'm pulling that department in the morning, and then basically they've got 3 hours in the afternoon to try to go catch up on limbs and leaves, all the street department stuff. So basically, what I would like is the approval of the council to see if we can hire.
Could anybody hear you, Scott?
Basically, but,
I was just seeing if everybody could hear you. I'm sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I'm basically going to be asking the council for approval if we can hire four full-time non-CDL personnel to basically be floaters to ride the trucks in the mornings, and then use them for street for limbs, leaf pickup, helping out in the cemetery, mowing, weeding.
Is that how many people you're down?
No, that's actually just keep the truck, the garbage end up.
Okay.
And help out on streets.
You're down, you have 2 open positions now.
Yes, one's just opening up the streets now, so I can transfer. One to replace Ryan, so.
And then you never filled the cemetery position.
Correct.
Okay, so you're asking for 3 or 4?
So,
4 riders, basically floaters.
but you're too short, you have 2 vacancies right now.
Yeah, one on the street side.
So you have 2 vacancies. So in addition to those 2 vacancies, you'd like to have 2 helper positions, basically?
Actually, 4.
4 additional.
Four
I need-
additional
Four
ones.
So you need 6 people.
Yeah, I need reliable help every day in the trash.
What kind of money are we looking at?
We're looking at well over $100,000.
Okay.
Now, the handbook doesn't state that we pay them, it's $11 an hour, but they all have to be working or have the opportunity to get their CDL.
Those 4, I would not require that.
Okay.
Yeah, the normal openings, yes, that is standard.
And I've got some
You're
questions
looking
on
at,
the,
with benefits, you're looking at about a little over $34,000 a year
Per year.
at $11 an hour.
But you're looking at, but that's per year, so you're talking about for the second half of this year, looking at half of that,
Right.
$50,000 would cover it through the rest of this year.
No.
No. About 75, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we were hoping to work with the other side, and they had been providing some help on the back of the trucks. They've had a couple of incidences where that's not a possibility. We were, gonna get 4 hours a day, wasn't it, Scott?
Yes.
And that kind of fell through. And the snowball effect of this pandemic is hit all the way to sanitation. With nobody in jail, working off fines, we're not getting any of those people anymore, and it's taking quite a toll on the rest of the guys down there.
in the position that requires a CDL, getting questions if they need it right now or if there's like a grace period where they have time to get it.
Yeah, there's a 3 months.
Okay,
When you get hired, you have 3 months to get a CDL.
okay.
how many months, Scott?
3.
Three.
Just so I get my notes right, is this a temporary thing until the pandemic gets better and there are people that are coming out? Is this a temporary thing, or is this forevermore for extra people?
Probably ask the police chief what his thoughts are on that.
Unfortunately, the situation in jail is not good. It's not looking like it's going to get any better. So, I don't make any long-term plans for any assistance from that. I had a discussion with the judge yesterday, and I was thinking about changing a few things, but there's nothing consideration.
Scott, could you get by with 3? I mean, I know you've been getting out and by with
Just
none.
have to pull that one foot street.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a jump for,
Well, I'll mention it to an hour of probation parole to the community service comes from for fines, pretty much. I'll mention it. I mean, just draw the luck of the draw if somebody just actually shows up to do it, so. But, so that's not necessarily something you can count on, but if they show somebody extra, maybe.
So do we need to decide this tonight?
I think we should.
Do we have the funds to cover that much?
We do within sanitation, but when we make transfers from sanitation to general fund or parks or wherever it may be, of course, you can't make any transfers out of the street department. You cannot, you've got to leave whatever funds in the street department in the street department. That's by law. And so
What's our balance in that fund right now?
our balance is 700 and, oh no, it's 900. Let me give you the exact balance, Chris. Sanitation is 915,000.
I mean, so are we looking at,
We were 883, so it, you know, so I mean, it grows fairly quickly, but it can also, that also depends on when our payments on our new trucks come up and things like that.
so is this something like, we need to look at like going up like $1 on trash or something to cover for it, or?
Well, obviously, we're gonna have to probably amend the budget because it,
Exactly, yeah.
Here's a strange question.
Yes, we may
What-
have to look.
What's the labor pool like? How many, have you had any applications for the openings you have right now? And it's been published how long? Or it's been known how long?
3 days.
Yeah, very,
Not very long.
not very long.
Because are we still in the situation where someone unemployed would rather sit at home and continue to draw the unemployment check and the bonus rather than go back to work? We're still in that situation.
And we would love to be able to get by with part-time people.
And how long does that last? The end of June?
Well, the
End of July?
July 28th, I think, is what the number of the day was. And but the thing is, they're supposed to start looking for work at that time.
They don't have to actually get a job?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
and also, I think there's another money dole coming out again too, which may make it even harder to find somebody. Of course, usually there's always somebody that's willing to work and wants to work.
So you have 2 vacancies, a CDL and a non, and you'd like to have 4 additional personnel even after you fill those.
Those are already positions that are out there.
Yeah.
We don't have to
I know,
adjust
I
the
mean, but
budget.
there's still vacancies.
Right.
So actually, we need money for the 4 floors.
Correct.
And the rest of the year, you said roughly that would be 75,000?
For the rest of this year, yes.
Right.
Yeah, so annually, it would be three would be 111,000, and so you're looking at $145,000 for 4 additional people. Of course, we've taken all the employees up to $11 an hour. We jumped a year and brought everybody to $11 an hour instead of 10, which was the right thing to do. And so we're ahead of the game there. But like I said, we are at $11 an hour. And then if they get their CDL, they go immediately to 12.
Could you do it with 2?
That's my deal.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Can we compromise at 2?
Well, welcome.
Thanks.
I started to say all right.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is always one of those things where you never, ever in government get all you want. You settle for part of it.
3.5 hours till it's.
You've got, you have 2 opens right now. I'd make a motion that we hire 2 additional personnel, non-CDLs. Quit whispering and talking.
One of those is in the cemetery, it's not an open person.
Yeah, I know. I mean, well, no, but that's, yeah, I know. You've got to fill the cemetery position, and you've got a public works / CDL position that's open now?
Street department.
In the street side, okay. So I would say that you need to hire 2 more full-time personnel on the street side,
Well,
or 1 and 1, how are you gonna do it?
Well, the street budget is based on state turnback,
I don't think we do
and
on
that's
the
all
street
you
side. I
get
think
there
it's
is
the
state turnback. Now, the sanitation department, it's on a fee,
You gonna put them,
Well,
and they run an excess, but the street department usually spends it all anyway and still runs short.
of course, I don't like the street sanitation. I know we did split it, but I like a public works employee.
correct.
Because, I mean, they're doing both jobs.
Right.
Right.
Most everything.
But I'm just saying where the money comes from for the payroll.
Right.
So
So you motion again.
2
Yeah,
additional
you-
personnel for public works, 2 additional full-time personnel.
Non-CDL.
Non-CDL. That way they can come in at the starting wage and stay there for a while. And I'm not gonna say discourage the CDL, because we always, because you know how the turnover is on that. So they need to be in the back of their mind thinking, okay, when somebody else leaves, I wanna be ready to step up. But they need to know that from the time being, they are non-CDL employees. So let's fill the 2 you've got vacant, plus hire 2 more. That was my motion.
I'll second.
No, that doesn't cure your problem, Scott.
It helps.
It'll help.
And then, hey, let's wave a magic wand, get the virus over, put people back in jail, and let's get community service people back out there. Let's, you know, then we're back in good shape.
But then they want to build a new jail for $17 million.
I've heard that. So that was my motion.
You have a second?
Ready? Any other discussion? Chris Foster?
Yes.
Casey Griffin?
Yes.
Louis Short?
Yes.
Sharon Williams?
Yes.
Paula Moore?
Yes.
Paul Muse?
Yes.
Jim Lang?
Yes,
Ally Son?
Yes.
And then we'll have a budget amendment, probably what, in, we
October,
probably don't need it
November.
for July, we probably need it for August.
Right.
So we'll know.
Yes.
One day.
Okay.
Okay, motion carried.
I don't need one till they get somebody hired.
I have a question for Jason. The call 92% rescue and emergency, can you talk a little bit about that? What's been happening?
Yeah. So what we did in the month of April, or of May, Survival Flight EMS, they had a floater position that would stay here at the ambulance station in case the fit ambulance was needed. They would flex on to that unit. We expanded a kind of a Nexus little data test.
Jason, can you speak a little louder?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I know you can.
I'll hit the cheek. So where do we stand? I don't know, we don't have a podium.
Or we just gotta
Fine
get on the
here.
microphone?
So what we did is, we moved that position from the ambulance station down to our central fire station, and we partnered them with the one firefighter we already have on duty, and we staffed our rescue vehicle, deployed it out of central station. What that is, a cost savings of about $160,000 annually for that position. So now that we can use them on the fire suppression side, that individual has been, is actually part of our fire department, but when they're on the clock for survival flights, we're able to utilize them. And if there's a transfer or, they can flex off that unit or not. But the main thing is, Saturday night, we had a structure fire a couple blocks away. We're able to put 3 firefighters within a minute on scene. We limit the growth of that fire from the electrical box before it breached the attic. We had someone on the engine supplying water to inside, so suppression, we're limiting growth, so I think it's going to be a good study. Also, our response times are less than about 5.5 minutes. So from the time of call to on scene, we've had CPR calls, we've flown out motorcycle accidents, we've been putting them on scene, stroke patients. So again, when we get that empirical evidence back, but that's 1 month, that's when you've seen the spike.
All right.
But the
But so
benefit-
that person's on survival flights paying for them?
Correct.
Okay.
But we're utilizing them at the fire station.
Now, is fire going out with every medical call that survival flight's going on, or?
Yes, so they're on the rescue, the one position that we have during the day, and one person at night paired with that employee, we're rolling on all calls. If you look at efficiencies in government, the taxpayers have already been paying that one position, we're just maximizing the effectiveness of that payroll.
Thank you. Any other questions for department heads?
Chief, you want to stand up and repeat what you said? I want an update on the status of a jail. New, used, refurbished, whatever.
They're still having discussions on that. I know the jail committee, I missed that meeting last 2 weeks ago, but I believe they are doing an analysis right now to see where they're going to go, how much it's going to cost. They're going to have an architect start looking into it. Expense on refurbish or that it require tax hike, so everybody's great at it. But I can tell you from the standpoint of your police department, we've got to do something, folks. We are, I talked to the sheriff, I talked to the other chiefs, I talked to people from up north, the northern county just last week. And we're in a situation right now where nobody's going to have any fear of misdemeanor offenses because there's nothing happening. Let's be honest. And until we get that under control, you're not going to get any workers, any service people. And, right now, even felons are being released at an alarm rate. Rollies are not being held. And I am very worried because now we're in a situation with instruction coming down from all of this activity outside of our state, that it's going to require more training on our guys. Not because we're doing anything wrong, but because of other problems elsewhere. And it's gonna mandate a lot more training on our side, and it's gonna put a lot more stress on our officers on the street. And it's already bad enough, we can't make somebody today get out of your hair for the one. This past weekend, officer had to tase the guy, he just simply refused to get out of the truck. Would not get out of the vehicle, we had warrants. We're gonna be getting pushed. This progresses. And I'm trying not to hurt anybody, I can assure you that. But I had a meeting with my department Tuesday, and I made it very clear that I'm gonna support them being able to go home at the end of their shift, no matter what it is. And I'm gonna have that view until Heber don't want me. But we have got to do something about this jail situation. I think they're starting to look at it a little bit, but looking at it and getting it done is too different. And that's all I got.
Thank you, that's about what I expected.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, next item is unfinished business. We have we've had it on the agenda for quite a while, the community center age, and I still think we need to table that to first to allow us to get back to normal hours for the community center. And so if we can table that again, I would appreciate it. And then we have the nuisance ordinance. We had a workshop the other day, went through it. I think we gained a lot of ground. We're kind of letting Chris and Terry visit on some of the legal portions of it to make sure that, that we can do what we want to do and that we can be backed by the law. And so I think we need to table that again until y'all get through beating that thing to death. So I appreciate all your time and effort in that, Chris and Terry.
Should we
You
have
need a
another
motion to table?
I'm sorry?
You need a motion to table?
Yeah,
Well, we've already read it once,
right.
so if it just stays in unfinished business, we can bring it back for the second reading next month or
Right.
whenever.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna move we table it.
I don't think we need to do another workshop. I think it's just some details. I can send it
I'm
out
gonna
to the
move wherever
council.
I don't like, has to read it.
But I think we all agreed on most of the body of that ordinance. There's just a few things in there that I wouldn't catch, but these legal guys, they seem to have a couple of issues. So we'd love for them to look at it a little more. Is that okay with the council?
You made a motion. Jim Lane made a motion to table.
I'm sorry.
I said Jim Lane made a motion to table, so.
I'll table both of them.
Okay. So we have a second?
Second.
Jim Lane,
Yes.
Ally Suggs,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Paula Sporn,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Chris Paulson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Move on to new business. The first item is reappointment of Whitney Ballinger to the A&P. Her term would be 4 years, ending in 2024. I've got several appointments here. We want to put them all together? Or? No, we got to do them separate.
Please.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a motion for Whitney Ballinger?
Ballinger.
Second.
Jim Lane,
Yes.
Ally Suggs,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Wallace Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the reappointment of Paul Muse to the A&P, a term ending on June 2021.
I move to reappoint Paul Muse,
Second.
A&P.
Nancy?
Congratulations.
Abstain. Abstain.
Jim Lane,
Yes.
Ally Sugg,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
yes. Wallace Moore,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin.
Yes.
Paul, I did ask you if you wanted to serve again.
Hey, it's easy because they got no money coming in, so it's easy.
Yeah. Motion carried. Next item is the reappointment of Jim Lay to the A&P Commission, term ending June 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Wallace Moore,
Yes.
Jim Lane,
Abstain.
Ally Sugg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Can I ask who's coming off?
David Forrester. He sold his business restaurant.
That's right.
So, and then the next appointment is the appointment of Angie Mix to the A&P Commission to finish David Forrester's term ending in 2021, or appoint her for a 4-year term ending June 2024.
And make that motion. Finish the term, that's the 2024, right?
Sorry.
That's 4 years.
2021 and then,
2020. Oh,
and also for another term. Got it?
let's put her on there for 2021 and
Go from
see if she
there.
doesn't run off screaming, then
Yeah.
we'll reappoint her. So I
Give
make
her
the
a
motion
chance.
there, she finishes David's term for 2021.
Second.
So we're gonna make a motion to appoint her to finish out David's term.
Yes. Term ending 2021.
Okay, Paul Muse,
Yes.
Wallace Moore,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Ally Sugg,
Yes.
Jim Lane,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
And I'd like to take, motion carried. And I'd like to take a minute to thank David Forrester. He was a good A&P member and had a great passion for what we were doing and contributed to it personally as well as corporately. So we really thank David. Next item is the PUD ordinance. We need to read this. This is a planned unit development that I can let Terry, you want to read this ordinance, Terry?
I can read it if you like for me to. An ordinance amending Chapter 1428, Plan Unit Development of the Heber Springs Municipal Code for other purposes. Whereas the council, having reviewed the current Heber Springs Municipal Code, Chapter 14.28, creating the procedures for obtaining Plan Unit Development, PUD, zoning within the city of Heber Springs, and whereas said Chapter 14.28 only permits application for PUD zoning in a development phase of the property, and whereas it is the desire of the City Council of the City of Heber Springs to allow for the application for and approval of a PUD zoning district, a developed or partially developed property. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Heber Springs, Arkansas as follows. Section 1, Section 14.28.02A of the Heber Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended to read as follows. A, ownership control. The land in a planned unit development district shall be owned, leased, or otherwise controlled by a person, firm, group of individuals, partnership, corporation, trust, property owners association, or architectural control committee, provided assurances are given through the procedures contained herein that the project can be successfully completed. Section 2, Section 14.28.02C of the Heber Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended to read as follows. C, uses permitted. In order to increase creativity and flexibility in the development of areas suitable for a planned unit development, there are no specific prescribed uses which are permitted within the boundaries of a planned unit development. The applicant shall be responsible for preparation of a list of permitted uses within the specific planned unit development requested. The development of the list shall take into account the nature and purpose of the planned unit development area, and such uses and locations shall be appropriate in order to protect and be in harmony with surrounding development. At the time of the pre-application planning conference, the applicant shall generally describe the nature and types of land uses to be located within the boundaries of the PUD district. At the time of the zoning application, in consideration of the preliminary plat, a specific written list of uses to be permitted by right shall be submitted for review by the Planning Commission. Following approval by the Planning Commission and the City Council, the list of specific uses permitted by right shall serve as a control list in issuance of building permits and certificates of occupancy. In addition to the above permitted uses that are established by right, certain other uses may be prescribed by the applicant in accordance with the restrictions included herein, and said uses are designated as specific permit uses. These uses more intensely dominate the area in which they are located than do other uses which might be permitted in the PUD district, and as such, they require special considerations and restrictions. If the applicant and our Planning Commission agree that certain special permit uses should be included within the PUD district, the applicant shall precisely indicate the specific use, its location, area to be included, maximum building square footage, and such other information as required by the Planning Commission of the City Council to properly and comprehensively evaluate the nature and impact of such special permit uses. When such special permit uses are approved at the time of rezoning, they shall not be subsequently changed to any other use until and unless they are changed to another use that is permitted by right, or the new proposed use, if not permitted by right in a PUD district, is resubmitted for rezoning approval. Section 3. Section 14.28.02E of the Heber Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended to read as follows. E. Perimeter requirements. In order to assure compatibility with surrounding development, the applicant shall submit specific information as to the setbacks, building height, coverage factors, and other elements necessary for all perimeter lots that are adjacent to the boundary of the PUD district or adjacent to any boundary or perimeter street right-of-way. While no specific setback requirements are herein established, the Planning Commission and City Council shall consider the nature, extent, and character of the adjacent development and shall take into consideration the types of area regulations applicable to adjacent properties. Section 4. Section 14.28.03 of the Heber Springs Municipal Code is amended to read as follows. 14.28.03, procedures for obtaining PUD zoning. A three-step review procedure is required for obtaining PUD zoning and final approval of the final plan and plat. The first step involves a pre-application plan and conference which is designed to provide information to the local government of the applicant's intention with respect to the nature and scope of the proposed PUD district and to allow the applicant to be informed of the city's regulations and policies concerning development alternatives for the area. The second step involves assessment of fees, submissions of a formal application for rezoning of the area to be a PUD district, and simultaneous submission of a preliminary plan in accordance with the Heber Springs subdivision regulations. The last step involves submission of the final development plan and plat for approval and recording. These steps are outlined as follows with respect to the procedure followed and submission requirements at each step. Section 5, Section 14.28.03A2a of the Heber Springs Municipal Code is amended to read as follows. A. Boundaries of the property involved, including but not limited to open space and any existing or parts of an existing platted subdivision. Section 6. The Heber Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended by adding a section to be numbered 14.28.03D, which said section reads as follows. D. Developed property and fee waiver. Should the proposed PUD district as described in the application for rezoning contain or consist of developed or partially developed property previously reviewed and approved by the Heber Springs Planning Commission, which approval being evidenced by the filing of a plat containing a certificate of approval signed by an authorized representative of the Planning Commission in the office of the Circuit Clerk and ex officio recorder for Cleveland County, Arkansas. Then the Planning Commission may, but shall not be required, waive, 1, any application review procedure requirements contained herein which are substantially similar to or consistent with the application requirements of the previously approved and recorded plat. 2, any or all or any portion of the preliminary plat review fees. Section 7, all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 8, in the event that any portion, provision, subsection, section, or part of this ordinance is later ruled to be invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the other provisions of this ordinance, which can be given effect without the invalid portion or portions. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are declared to be severable.
I have a question. I'm not a lawyer, so there's a whole bunch of legalese in here, but will this fix what we discussed a couple months ago at a workshop?
Yes, in a way. And let me answer it this way. This will allow the people within a subdivision, Brighton Point or any other subdivision, to apply for a PUD zoning. In other words, you want them to affirmatively want it.
Right.
You don't want to put it on somebody.
Right.
So what this effectively does, our old PUD ordinance anticipated it to be undeveloped property. So unless it was undeveloped property, and there's an initial time the developer was going to come and submit the plat, was the only mechanism, the way that the PUD ordinance was worded, that someone could do that. Well, Brighton Point, if you remember, was formed right before our PUD ordinance went into effect. So theoretically, they could have never, ever applied to be in a PUD zone, PUD district. So what this has done is changed the wording up in such a manner that their property owner association or whoever can petition the city to be put in a PUD.
Okay.
So if, when this passes, it still falls on them to make the appropriate application to planning and zoning to change that location to an approved PUD.
They got to do something affirmative.
Correct. Now, and I asked this to Doug the other day, and he confused me. We're going to rezone that? Is that part of the issue also? Or
Well,
will this take care of it?
this would take care of it.
Okay. So we don't have to change the zoning out there?
If they come forward and request to be put in PUD, what it would do, and assuming the planning commission approved that and recommended it and the council passed an ordinance placing it in a PUD, there would no longer be the necessity of asking for a variance if you wanted to build on a lot out there, as long as you were in compliance with the bill of assurance and setbacks on the plat. However, if they wanted to change it, okay, but I mean, right now it would go, I think their rear setbacks are 10. Let's say that after you passed this and they came to the city and the city passed it, put them in a PUD, then all of a sudden, the people out in Brighton Point said, we're going to amend that to say 0 setback. Well, they would have to come back to the planning commission and council.
Because that would be a variation of
It's
what
a
they
change
initially
of their
submitted.
bill of assurance and stuff.
Okay.
So the way you govern it, the way you keep control over it, is if they're going to change it, they've got to come back. Any amendments have to be approved by the planning commission and ultimately the council.
I would like to make a motion that we pass this ordinance.
Second.
Nancy, you know what number this will be?
I think you're going to need to read this.
Yeah, we have to read
Yeah, does this require 3 readings?
Yes.
Does it?
Yes.
So
Okay, that's supposed to
I'm
be
not-
made.
But what number will it be?
There's a rules in place that we're on first reading, not title second.
Right.
Second reading.
Not title only.
Right.
2020-05.
Oh, fine.
Second.
So you made a motion to place it by the,
What number was that, Nancy?
2020-05.
Second reading by title only.
and I second that motion.
I already did.
Oh, you did?
Now you were in
I'd
conversation.
be more than happy to read this once we have the vote.
Title only.
Okay, by title only.
I know, because it's only 20 words.
Okay.
Got to call for the vote.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Ally Suggs,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
Yes,
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Hollis Moore,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Louis Short.
Yes.
An ordinance, this is ordinance number 2020-05, an ordinance amending chapter 14.28 planned unit development of the Heber Springs Municipal Code and for other purposes.
Further suspend the rules and place it on third reading of title only.
Second.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Ally Suggs,
Yes.
Hollis Moore,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Jim Lay.
yes,
Ordinance number 2020-05, an ordinance amending chapter 14.28 planned unit development of the Heber Springs Municipal Code and for other purposes. That was the third time, correct?
Correct.
Sir.
I make a motion, we approve this ordinance.
Second.
There's no emergency clause, so it'll go in effect in 30 days, correct?
That's correct.
Ally Suggs,
Yes.
Jim Lay,
yes,
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Hollis Moore,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Chris Foster.
Yes.
now,
Motion.
can you give me the
Motion
ordinance
carried.
number?
2020-05.
Okay.
Next item, we have a discussion on a Pemberton fire truck. Chief Robitel, would you like to kind of give us a rundown on this old truck?
Yeah, yes, sir. This is a PIM fab, I think it was purchased, what, 2006? It's one of two. This is our reserve fire engine that's located at the fire station up on the mountain, by Mountain Air. Have not ran a call, how many years has it been? 2 or 3, maybe turn the wheel. It's kind of the end of the useful life for us. What we would like to do, I'd like to present the concept to the council, is we have a neighboring fire district, Pine Snag, Bobo Fire Department, Fire District, on structure fire a couple months ago, we were on scene, they had a catastrophic failure to one of their fire engines. We'd like to entertain a motion that we can offer that fire apparatus to them. They can use that. We've also entered into an automatic aid agreement this last month. So we've already responded to 2 structure fires collectively where it's automatic. So we will, the city and the fire district will still receive use for structure fires that can respond now with their personnel, their equipment. This does not include the equipment on there, the hose, the nozzles, the air packs, things like that. They can use that from the fire engine that they lost due to mechanical failure. So it's kind of a win-win. It's us both working together, and I think they could get a lot of use. I talked to Chief Cresswell, and he was grateful for us even entertaining that opportunity.
Now that truck was still on the books at $65,000, but now the equipment on that truck, I know that truck's not worth $5,000.
Correct.
If that. Is it worth, Doug, Chief, has it got any trade-in value for if we were to buy a new truck of any substantial amount?
No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it lately, and I don't think it's moved for quite a while. And the equipment off of that truck is probably valued at what, 25,000? Would it be that much?
We bought 25 apiece, and then there was $150,000 worth of equipment.
Correct.
It was purchased for that truck, for both of those trucks.
I didn't hear that.
So both engines were purchased from Jonesboro, and they purchased both fire engines for a total of $25,000, and then another $100,000 was for the equipment that was on those engines.
Okay.
So know, right now, I value probably equipment around $20,000, but we can still keep that equipment.
So are we looking at selling this or giving it?
I would like to give it to them.
And what are we gonna replace it with?
Nothing. It's a reserve engine that we don't have a need for.
So there's still gonna be an engine in that building, or?
There's 2 fire engines in that building already. Neither of them we've been responding. Well, I know one, we had a structure fire. The other one had an internal field.
The truck without the equipment, would you say it's worth less than $7,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
I don't know the mechanisms of, to do that.
If we don't-
I just want to propose that.
if we don't replace that truck, is that gonna affect any insurance ratings or anything?
No, sir.
No.
It'll still be on the books, it's just,
No.
No.
No. We've done this in the past. We've had
Yeah.
older fire trucks that we have donated, fire trucks and other fire equipment we've donated to other fire departments. I think of a tanker that we gave away and everybody on the fire department clapped when it was gone because it was so dangerous and scary, but I think it went to Wilburn. I think they finally crashed it and ruined it. But, you know, but it's been done in the past.
Right.
And I think if you go online to the different locations and look at used fire trucks online, you'll find them everywhere with no miles on them. And you'd think they'd be worth a lot, but it's antique. They're old and they're outdated. They're really not worth anything.
Well, there's usually 1 or 2 every month in the
Municipal
Municipal
League
League
magazine,
magazine.
they're begging somebody to buy.
Yeah.
What is the actual year of that truck?
91, there was 2 of them.
That's what I was thinking of, 1991.
The one that would be left at that station, how does it compare to this one? It's newer or?
What was it, 87?
I have several fire engines that are older than my firefighters. I'll just, Station 5, we have ladder trucks that are 80s, 90s, so, but they're flowing water, and they're doing a great job keeping them clean and as operable as possible.
So the second truck up there has been used, or?
Yes, sir. In Pine Snag, I mean, they operate strictly on fire dues. I think their annual operating budget's around $16,000. They have a large response area. With our automatic aid, we've done 2 vehicle applications. We work closely together. They're just a really good partner. We train constantly, and I know this is just a benefit to them. It's also kind of scratching each other's backs. That would be my recommendation. That we could
Be good use of
offer
it. Be good use of the vehicle.
Well, since it's better than that tanker truck,
You remember that?
I'm gonna move that we donated to Pine Snag,
With no equipment.
Lobo Landing, without any equipment, just truck.
I'll second that.
Be removed from business.
Yeah. And removed from fixed assets.
Okay, Louis Short,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
yes.
Hollis Moore,
Yes.
Ally Sutton,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Jim Lane,
Yes.
Paul East.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
You wanted to talk about some Title VI issues?
Yes, sir. You want me to come up there?
Yeah, if you machine them,
You skipped the agenda.
We skip the,
move up here, that'd be
Jimmy.
great.
we skip
Jimmy.
the resolution?
You
Jimmy, you're
skipped
moving ahead.
the economic
Did I?
Yeah.
Resolution to reopen.
All right.
You can come back.
We can come back to it, but just let you know.
Oh, okay. We can come back to that,
Yes.
Yeah.
or do it now, either way. We'll just come back to it if that's okay with the council.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, sir.
My name is Michael Hernandez. I reside at 1119 West Mill Street. I'm a disabled veteran. I've lived here in Heber Springs about 6 years, so I hope you don't hold that against me. I'm here to talk about feral cats and the Title VI Animal Control Ordinance. Let me just briefly talk about feral cats in the United States and here in town. Feral cats kill approximately in the United States about 2.5 billion birds per year, songbirds. That billion with a B. They're responsible for 63 extinct species of birds so far, and several other birds are on the endangered list. They're also responsible for about 15 human diseases. Domestic cats are the #1 carriers of rabies in the United States. 10-to-1 according to the CDC over dogs. But the biggest disease threat from feral cats is toxoplasmosis, usually transmitted by their feces. They bury it in the ground, leave it, surprises. And the eggs from those parasites hang around for years in the ground, gets in the water, gets in the lakes, rivers, and streams. The CDC estimates that approximately 74% of all cats will eventually get infected with that and pass this on. And toxoplasmosis causes deafness, seizures, mental retardation, blindness, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, autism, OCD, memory loss, and death. So this is a very concerning thing. CDC is talking about cats being a large-scale environmental contamination. So the biggest response, especially from the National Humane Society, has been the TNR program. There have been many studies that show that TNR did not work. TNR has just been mainly an emotional response to placate the cat lovers. I have nothing against cats. I'm all about responsible pet ownership, but there's a huge difference between responsible pet ownership and feral cats that are out causing property damage, public health problems, environmental issues, that type of thing. So what I came to talk about was Title VI, trying to get it enforced. I've had issues with, I've called the police department out. They said, well, it's not our job to enforce that. I said, well, it says right in the ordinance, the police department will enforce it. They said, well, call the animal control guy. Call the animal control guy out for weeks now, and he won't enforce it. He said, well, as far as cats go, it's too vague to enforce. I said, it specifically says this, it specifically says this. In the end, of course, I called the mayor, and I called Scott, and I guess y'all had a meeting about it, but so far, he hasn't gotten back together with the lady.
He was there today to try to catch her. Right.
And what precipitated all this, there's this one lady, she's feeding the feral cats. She's drawing them all in, and she's up to 8 now. Unique, distinct cats that she feeds all the time. The police did go over and speak to her, and I said, according to the ordinance and according to state law, she's feeding them, she's watering them, she's petting them, she's talking to them. She owns them because she's keeping, owning, and harboring the cats. But so far, nothing's been done. So I'm slowly working my way along, trying to just proving ownership and moving our way along. But what I'd like to see addressed, and given what I've heard tonight, I know COVID-19 has slowed down the budget and all that, but I would like it to be a matter of record of just how much harm
the feral cats can be causing our community, okay, especially from a public health standpoint. The TNR program is not working. There are many studies from many universities and from the CDC showing that they're not working. When you're releasing them back, if you just do the arithmetic, in order for it to reduce the cat population, which is the original, proposal, trap, neuter, and release, just do the arithmetic, you would have to trap 88% of the feral cats to start to reduce the populations in the wild.
Well, I've got to speak up here for a second.
Okay.
I wish Mary David was here.
Right.
Because she sure would argue with you.
And this is a huge thing with the National Humane Society.
Yeah.
This is their big thing, but they don't have figures to back up what they're talking about because it's an emotional issue with them. This is a feel-good issue. This is what they decided to do. Now we're not killing cats. I don't want to kill cats. But in the end, that may be the more humane thing to do, is because they're not pets. They are a wild animal. They're just almost on the same equivalent as vermin. Okay? And they've experimented with using these cats as vermin killers. Well, the reason we might have vermin is because we have abandoned houses where the vermin have a place to populate and keep up. But I see the chief is doing some good work as far as that goes. Once you clear up that issue, we won't have the vermin. They won't have a place to seek shelter and eat and feed and repopulate. So it's a whole big interconnected circle.
It is.
So, if you do one and you enforce it and it all works together, you've got to make all of it work together. My proposal is, and I come in here to complain, I come with some solutions hopefully. If you make the enforcement part like you've done with the dogs in Title VI, you can do the same thing with cats. People object saying that you can't leash a cat, but you can control your cats if they're a pet. If you've got a collar on it and you've got the tags on it that you're supposed to have, vaccinate them, and have the built-in license. If you take it to a vet that's vaccinated, well, there's an implied license to the city. And a lot of people get their pets, with the microchip inside them and everything. That's how you know that it's a pet.
Well,
A responsible owner would do that.
Yeah, the at-large definition in our ordinance kind of explains that.
Yes.
It ties the cat
But in the
situation with
enforcement
dogs.
part of the ordinance, it only talks about dogs.
Right.
So people say you can't leash a cat. Well, you can get on YouTube and you can see they've trained their cat to use the toilet. They've trained their cat to take a ball and throw it in a basketball goal. They've trained their cat to do this. Well, I think you can certainly train your cat to stay on a leash. It's just, for some reason, cat owners don't want to have the responsibility that dog owners have been forced to do all these years. And for good reason. But cats present a greater rabies risk than dogs do.
Michael, have you checked with the humane shelter on how many they've done on the TNR? They've had tremendous success here in the past.
That they've had success with,
And you've got
that they've had
others?
success with neutering, but when they take it back and put it back, that hasn't prevented that cat from spreading toxoplasmosis or killing wild birds or any of that other stuff that's going on. See, and like I said, if you just do the arithmetic, you have to neuter 88% of those wild cats to start getting a population decrease. Since I moved into my house, I've seen more cats. And I see them coming out and trapping cats all the time, taking them over and she neuters and releases them. I haven't seen a population decrease, I've seen a population increase.
Well, how could it increase?
And the TNR, because they're not getting all the cats. A cat can have 4 litters a year, 8 kittens in a litter. You have to, if you sit there and do the arithmetic, you have to get a bunch of them all at once. If you don't get all of them all at once, but you can't do that.
Have you called for them to come track the cats, or does the lady complain? She will-
At one time, the guy before Dalen, Zach, he said, we're not taking cats anymore. You know, I must have called 2 or 3 times. We're not taking cats anymore, or she's not taking cats anymore, so we're not trapping them. He said, but you can trap it, and we'll give you a trap to trap it. And I said, well, then what am I supposed to do with the cat? He said, well, that'll be your issue. And I'm like, well, that's kind of odd. So I went down to Public Works and they lent me a trap. So I get it home, and sure enough, I trapped the cat fairly quickly. And I went, well, now what am I supposed to do with the cat? And why did they give me a trap? And so I called up down to Public Works, and the guy says, well, we don't care what you do with the cat, just go do something. I said, something's strange here. So I got online and I looked up the Arkansas Animal Cruelty Law. Well, it was against the law for me to trap the cat or keep the cat in a trap. It was against the law for me to take the cat off out into the woods somewhere and release it. It is against the law for me to kill the cat. It is against the law for me to take the cat to a vet and have it euthanized, as it wasn't my cat. What was I supposed to do with this cat? Well, a neighbor across the street saw that, trapped the cat, not this neighbor, and they came over and they released it while I was inside the house. I went, phew. I got out of breaking this law, and I'm like, well, was the city trying to trap me into breaking the law? I mean, it's what it appeared to me to be doing. We'll get rid of one of the troublemakers. So, no, I haven't done anything. That was with Zach, and then right after that, then Dalen Lamb came in. And now he told me a week ago, he said, well, we are taking some cats. So, but it doesn't do any good if they're still tearing up my gardens, tearing up my trash, tearing up my vehicle, tearing up the wires underneath my vehicle.
I think a few years back, Stacy, I noticed you're back there. Several years back, had some woman, I believe, had a farm out in the county that was taking all the stray cats. Do you remember that?
I don't remember anyone taking all the stray cats. We've had some for dogs or whatever, certain.
This was actually cats, and
I don't
so,
recall anyone that I dealt with. I don't know that.
and maybe we need to, Paul, do you remember that?
I remember this has been a very touchy subject for years and years and years.
Yeah, cat lovers versus.
Well, and also I know that even in Conway, they started getting after their cat population, and now they've got a rat problem. You know, so.
Well, they got abandoned houses
You
that
know.
they haven't torn down.
But this has
not,
been
not many in Conway.
But this has been a touchy issue forever.
Yeah.
Because the city has always taken unofficially said, we'd like to err on the cautious side. We don't want to trap Fluffy and have Fluffy go to the Humane Society and be euthanized and then have some irate owner come after us, even though Fluffy wasn't microchipped or didn't have a collar, because it could have lost a collar, whatever. I've been to Michael's house. I've seen his cats. I know exactly what the problem is. Michael, I got the same problem. And I live in the middle of 10 acres. I have a new stray cat that comes to our front porch every single day. This morning it was a yellow one. Yesterday it was black and white. A week ago it was another one. I have new cats come over there because I think somebody's bringing them over and dumping them in my neighborhood. Probably.
Which is against the state animal cruelty law.
Well, yeah, but it happens. My recommendation is that we invite Ms. T&R and the Humane Society representative, and we put this on the agenda next month, and then he come back, very short presentation, and then let them have it, and then let the battle begin. I mean, because, you
I'm
know.
bringing all the reports and documentation. I was trying to keep it short and sweet tonight.
Well, I appreciate that, and But,
'Cause this is not the first time we've been through this.
yeah, we.
I understand
this
that,
is-
I'm sure. It's every town in Arkansas too.
Exactly, yeah.
We had a
But
case,
nothing's getting done.
we had a case
And-
years ago, this got so, it got so public and divisive. A certain neighborhood in town, they had a trap, they trapped a cat. A lady actually put a disguise on, big floppy hat, a whole bit, snuck down there and released that cat. Well, and then they wanted her arrested, y'all remember that. Anyway, they wanted to arrest her and all that, but it gets pretty intense. So my recommendation is that he's back next month with the representative of the Humane Society, and if they don't show up, then we'll take action without their input.
And there was a woman at Rosebud that was taking cats,
And I will
but
talk to the
I think
lady
she's
across
hit the
street.
max.
But that's for future.
Dr. Pruitt Cersei is his
Something
ex-wife.
gotta be done about the.
Well, one thing that we are doing, thanks to the, Chief Robitel, is that, you know, these vacant structures, these old little corn sheds or whatever you want to call them, and these burnt-out houses, these abandoned structures, you know, the more that we address that issue, the more it's going to help us as well.
I had 6 within 1 block of my house.
Yeah, yeah. And when people feed them, you're going to still have those 6. And so, but
I'm talking about.
it is a nuisance, and it is against our ordinance to not contain and those animals. They cannot come over and destroy your property.
I know. And she had more than 4.
Yeah,
And she had more than 4.
yeah, well, we can take care of that too.
So, Michael, you're okay with next month?
And yes, I'll be here.
And then,
And she's a tenant, and she's gonna leave, and she's gonna abandon those cats.
Probably, yeah.
We'll make the state go after her.
Yeah.
Or she can take them with her, that would be even better. Anyways, thank you for your time, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you, Michael. December 5.
I'll be proud about that too.
I'm with him.
He's with me.
I'm with him. You council
He's
members
supposed to be
need
on the
own up
agenda
and
with
do
me.
your job.
What is our job?
If you need some help.
I said, what is our job?
Sir,
What is our job?
pass ordinances and enforce them.
What's our main responsibility?
I've said it.
The health, safety, and well-being of the people in Heber Springs, Arkansas.
I don't want to say it. I don't know if
We have one more thing.
Somebody that knows everything, don't know nothing.
We've got another item, excuse me. Excuse me. We've got another item here on the agenda. A resolution for reopening and rebuilding the local economy. We need this ordinance passed. This will help us in the future if we want to file for any kind of funding that has damaged, that this virus has caused us issues. And so if we have an ordinance in place, then a resolution in place, then we'll be a step ahead of the game as far as applying for these funds, because you will have to pass a resolution.
Want me to read it?
Yes, please.
2020-03.
Oh, what?
3.
Oh, 3.
Okay. The City of Heber Springs is essential in support of fair, direct federal emergency support to reopen, rebuild local American economies. Whereas America's cities, towns, and villages face unprecedented threats due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic emergency. Whereas municipalities are essential to America's economic recovery. Without funding support from the local government, municipalities may go from being a critical part of the economic solution to becoming a major obstacle to long-term stabilization and recovery. And whereas America's cities, towns, and villages will experience budgetary shortfalls in fiscal year 2020 alone, and negative efforts of the pandemic emergency on the local communities will continue long after this year. And whereas 3 million critical municipal workers' jobs are at risk, threatening cuts to basic community services including 911 response, sanitation and maintenance, and whereas communities have taken extraordinary measures to protect health, safety, continuation of essential services throughout the emergency, and whereas the city of Heber Springs, being not only a tourist destination but a rural area as well as lost tax dollars through tourism along with local businesses being shut down following COVID-19 guidelines. The city has made budgetary sacrifices in police CID departments as well as parks departments. These sacrifices have impacted every person in our area. One less person in the police department impacts every citizen. Shutting down the community, aquatics, and parks impacts all citizens, young and old, in their therapeutic and basic needs for a healthy lifestyle. Whereas America's rural communities and small towns are struggling just as much as big cities, risk of being left behind and wiped out entirely. Now therefore be resolved, the city of Heber Springs calls on Congress to allocate fair and direct federal support to all American communities regardless of population size. Be it further resolved, the funding must be flexible and address not only the additional expenses incurred by communities to respond to the pandemic emergency, but also the dramatic budgetary shortfalls resulting from pauses in commerce, tourism, and other economic engines. And be it further resolved, the local government will ensure federal funds are immediately used to reopen the national economy. And be it further resolved that the funding will keep middle-class workers employed and critical services operating. Be it further resolved, the city of Heber Springs has been part of the emergency response and now calls on Congress to build united national partnership for the safe, healthy, prosperous life. I move we adopt the resolution.
Second.
Jim Lang,
Yes.
Paul Muse,
Yes.
Louis Short,
Yes.
Chris Foster,
Yes.
Casey Griffin,
Yes.
Sharon Williams,
Yes.
Paula Moore,
Yes.
Ally Sutton.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, open mic. Does anyone to address the council? Got 3 minutes. Yes, sir. Hi, Ms. Glover.
About 7 months ago, I came before the council asking about a web page where we can know what's going on down here. You told me at that time that work was in progress, working on it. Boy, there's whoever's doing this.
No, sir, they're not.
Sir?
No, sir, they're not. It's a very slow process. It's not a slow process, but it's we've totally rebuilt a whole new webpage, and it's coming out as we speak.
Next month.
And Chris Kramer,
Next couple weeks.
since the pandemic has come, she has done nothing but for 2 months sit in her office for 8 hours a day working on that website. So it is, you're about to have a wonderful website. Now it's going to take a lot of time also to put all the information that we want on that website. But it is something that we're proud of, and that it's going to be state of the art.
2005, that's great you're going. I'm sorry. I just don't have any faith in your actions.
But you can't just snap your fingers like with technology. It takes time. Like the mayor said, it takes time. It's not something that's going to happen, and this pandemic has slowed stuff down.
I'm a certified computer programmer. I know a little about what it takes. I was in the first programming course at UCA, 1980. I know a little about what I'm talking about.
We signed the contract in January, and so as soon as we started working on it, it's when the pandemic hit. And so a lot of people weren't working at that time, And so it's taken, and I don't believe it was 7 months ago when you were here. We had to get it in the budget. I mean, there are things that are processes that have to go along to pay for a $10,000 website.
Number two, we're beyond this right here, can't hear. We can't afford any microphones or amplifiers, can we? We're so broke, but we buy anything and everything else but a sound system that will work and help us people who have hearing difficulties. Now, I'm just simply a believer, government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And by the people is not working here in Heber Springs. I'm sorry, I've been on city council, I know what it's, how it works. Okay?
Anyone else?
My turn.
Okay.
I had a constituent contact me with complaints about Suddenlink cable. Jimmy knows that Batesville has had a problem with them, as has Jonesboro. And if I ask anybody to raise their hand in the audience who is a Suddenlink customer who thinks they're being overcharged, I think you'd see every hand go up. I am officially and formally requesting the city attorney examine our franchise with Suddenlink to see if they are in compliance with it. Because one provision in here is that they will maintain an office open at all normal hours, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which they have not done so. I would request you examine this, prepare a letter for the signature of the mayor, and ask the Attorney General to include the city of Heber Springs in the investigation of the violation of the rights and the mistreatment of the citizens as Batesville and Jonesboro are participating in. I want us included in that.
Tomorrow there'll be a post on Facebook and website and all to everyone write letters in. As Batesville's doing it, talked to the Batesville mayor today. We're going to gather our forces and we are going to go to the AG. And so she's already prepared what's coming. So please write into the city.
And what you need to know is our ordinance does have a portion in there about citizen complaints. You're supposed to complain to them, document their response, then you call the mayor or his representative who contacts them. Then you're supposed to have a public hearing with them invited to it to address the situation and resolve the problem. Well, we need to examine this because A, I think they're overpricing, and I've had 2 people call me and say their bill went up drastically with no rationale, with no explanation, and they can't get an answer from anybody. So like I said, I'm officially requesting that we be included in that.
Did you get answers?
Pardon me?
I got answers.
They went up, she's paying $181.
Oh, I am too.
I got answers. I just called. That's why I was late, because I was switching to AT&T.
Wait a minute, Allie? Now, and they were at Allie's house for what reason?
No, I was late because I was switching to AT&T.
Okay, you're switching.
So they were still at my house. But no, I called them this weekend. I called Suddenlink, and when our kids were at home, they charged us an extra $90 for going over our amount. We've never gotten that extra charge except for the month that our kids were at home homeschooled.
I called and asked about that as well, what we could do, and they said, well, increase your coverage.
Yeah.
So we did, but a constituent of mine did call earlier this year. He had outrageous more than he had ever had before.
Yeah, ours was
And
$180.
Leslie Rutledge's office did help him get that taken care of first. So,
well,
and our one had cable go out the other night? There was no cable.
It goes out all the time. But I've got my bill here. My bill is ridiculous. Basically $180 a month for cable and for internet. That's it. No phone. my mom has the television and a telephone with no internet because she's 84 years old. Anyway, her bill's 140. So what's wrong with that picture? Now, and Terry, when you go through this, there is a paragraph in here. It says that the fees shall be, you'll have to read it, the grantee rates for the same type of services rendered in this operation will not exceed the state average based on a per city average rather than per subscriber average for the same type of service. So you need to look at that carefully because we're being gouged because they got a monopoly. So we need to jump in the middle of this law, with this investigation with the Attorney General and get our people some relief here.
Where should
Please.
these letters be sent to? Where do we send the letters?
City Hall.
The letters technically are supposed to come
To the mayor.
to him.
Okay,
To him. But I think you need to look, Terry, you need to look at this and
Yeah, I'd
then
be glad to.
put it, and prepare a letter so he can sign it, we can be part of the investigation.
Obviously, they've got a council person in Batesville that is leading this charge.
Yeah,
And
their
so,
Facebook post, I shared his Facebook post.
And then, and give me a holler too on this, because I've got an issue with what they bill, because we receive, now, okay, everybody think we get rich off of Suddenlink? We get $1 per year per customer. If I'm not mistaken, we have either 1,600 or 1,700 customers, so that's what we get per year from Suddenlink. Now, if you look at your bill, you're gonna see a thing on there called a, let me look over my glasses, a franchise fee for like 13 cents a month to 15 cents a month. Let's do the math.
$1.
Let's do the math. Who's getting that extra money? It's not us. So there's something else I have an issue with. And if they did in fact sell to Altice, then that's another issue, because they cannot do that without coming to us first.
Now, they did.
Most of
last
our
year.
franchise fees are a higher percentage than that. But what we didn't want to do back in the day,
Lakeshore Radio and TV back in the day.
Right.
that if we'd asked for a higher franchise fee, they would have just passed it to the customer. So we were not trying to hurt our
But
citizens.
now they're passing it to the
And-
customer.
But now they're doing it in
And
other
keeping it.
ways. Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Mayor, one other thing we need to.
I promised my mom.
Encourage everyone to fill out their census form,
Yeah,
turn it in.
yes.
I'm sorry, county, whatever.
I'm having complaints about Sandy Beach.
About what?
About Sandy Beach. So I don't know what we can do about that, but, I don't know if it's just a lot more people this year, and
Yes.
so, and I
Yes.
think it is, but
Yes.
there's a lot more trash down there as well, and a lot of the people that live along, that road have contacted me and just saying that it's, you know,
We pick
it's,
trash up every morning and every afternoon in front of their house and all of Sandy Beach.
yeah, no, they're
And-
just saying just when they do go down there, like Sunday night, you know, before y'all, you
Yeah.
know, before it is Monday and before, I mean, that it's just, it's like the trash doesn't smell good. I don't know if we need to put maybe more dumpsters down there.
We're putting 4 new trash cans in the trees. We've had some kids actually say, if y'all put some more trash cans out there, we'll have to pick up trash. Wonderful. And so there are some good things, but we have 3 times as many people on Sandy Beach than we've ever had, and it's a daily affair. Everybody's been pretty cooperative, and we hadn't had much troubles, but the trash is
Yeah.
a huge
And the
issue.
other complaint I do get is not, I mean, the trash as well, but there are, I wouldn't say troubles, but there's stuff going on down there that I don't know if we could even monitor. I don't know how, you know, like, I don't know
How
if we
often
need
do we have the police?
We're doing regular patrols too, and you know how black and whites are, everybody sees them coming in. We are having CID go out there on the weekend.
Unmarked cars.
Unmarked units, and you will get ticketed if you let it. There's no
Yeah, well, and I've been hearing of just, like, basically people just smoking marijuana out there as well, just out in the open, in the parking lot, as people were trying to come
Most
down.
of them are gathered up by the volleyball
I pulled
court.
18
We know exactly where they
last
are.
month. Walked up on them, got a call, and walked up on them, yeah, I get it. Some are legal marijuana. But, yeah, the kids were catty, and we dealt with them. But
They have
as
legal?
far as putting 15 kids in juvenile court, that's problematic, so then it's all the parents to deal with it. So to deal with it or not, that's on me. But as far as locking up the court system during the pandemic shutdown, that's just not practical. And so we're doing the best that we can, I can assure you. But,
I didn't know if it was just something that at some point, if we want to look at. I mean, I've had people come to me and say, I think y'all need to start charging me. And I'm like, really? You know, at first I wasn't for sure, but it might be something I think we need to discuss.
We had that discussion this morning, didn't we?
But we've had that discussion in the past too.
Yeah.
And
We
because-
actually charged out there one time and everybody went to the dam.
Well,
Nobody used it.
now the problem
Court
is
tried
that
it, the reason the court wanted us to take it.
dam site gets full and they start turning people away. They say, well, where can we go swim? Well, you can go to Sandy Beach.
See, a lot of that's been that because the core campgrounds, when they were full and they closed their swim areas down, there was no place else to go but Sandy Beach. Now the Corps opened some of those up, and it's relieved some of the tension, but we still, it's great. Sandy Beach is such an attraction. It's wonderful. But when you have that, you've got other things.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I didn't know if we could give like a local pass where locals get in free, but charge to,
Well, we discussed that at length this morning.
yeah. I don't know, I just think it's something we can talk about, think about.
And I've been asked about food trucks or vendors or something down there.
Well, we had all those plans until the beach disappeared with the water. So that's coming, And we're gonna make 4 NCAA
Volleyball.
volleyball courts. We can have the largest beach volleyball tournament in the state of Arkansas. So we've got some good plans. We're having disc golf. We've got a disc golf course that's going to go through the woods there at the Anderson Trail. Got some great plans. Of course, we have a FEMA claim that's still out there for additional sand replacement. But it's just, you know, the elements, the pandemic and the high water and everything else. But it's great. The whole lake, I've never seen so many boats on this lake. Every single weekend is like the 4th of July. It's wonderful for our economy. You know, our sales tax has been up for the last 3 months. We didn't take a dip like other communities. So shows you what local shopping will do. And so we're fortunate in that respect.
And sometime in the future, we're gonna have to make a hard decision too about access to Sandy Beach, Old Main instead of where it is now.
Already got plans for it.
But someday we're gonna have to.
It's gonna take a $500,000 parking lot.
Right.
So, you know, but we need to put a big archway going into Vinegar Hill. That'd be the main entrance into Sandy Beach. Keep them from going through the subdivision. That's kind of, you know, primitive thing. But that's the plans. And we're excited about what that can all look like down there. But
That's someday.
it's something that we're planning. Makers Market, Casey, do you want to?
I had 24 vendors last week, and I'm probably gonna have more than that next week. 9 to 2 at the courthouse lawn.
Fireworks, 4th of July, it's at the airport. It's not the best scenario, but it'll work, and There's I think the blue balloon's still up in the air.
Probably
I don't know if
still
it's
up.
still-
It's still up.
And it's hard to find because it's pretty high up there. And it's a small blue balloon in this blue sky.
He says small, he does this. It's actually 5 foot across. It's a big weather balloon.
Yeah, but it
when
looks-
you put it
looks
up
big.
400 feet in the air, it's pretty small.
And, that will start at 8:45, 9 o'clock.
And Jimmy, did the chamber not say they would have music the night before at Spring Park, on the courthouse? Did that get approved yet?
I don't think that's gonna be then. I think it's gonna be for the cardboard boat.
Which got canceled, so she was gonna do
Yeah, it's
the
canceled.
music.
I know
the
it's
night before.
canceled, but I think they were gonna do that for that weekend.
Before that weekend.
Now, they may be doing a band downtown on the night
The night before,
the
on the third.
On the third, so it would be at the courthouse. We'll put that out on the Facebook and the website.
Is it on the 4th of July?
The fireworks are.
Fireworks are on the 4th of.
P&Z meeting has been changed. It will be held June 30th at 5:15 in the council room due to the holiday. And everybody have a safe 4th of July, and we appreciate everybody being here, your comments. We always welcome that. Council, thank you. Anything else?
And when you go home, you get on Facebook tonight, mention the Suddenlink situation. If a person is a subscriber in Heber, have them write a quick letter, drop it off to Jimmy so we can do a stack like this when they go down there. You know, don't just say your rate's too high. I mean, you know, be specific.
Does it matter if we don't live in the city?
Are you a Suddenlink subscriber?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't get any money from you on the franchise, but
But it's
you're
still
still a
a
subscriber
for the service, yeah. Yeah.
motion to adjourn?
Second?